When you hear the words, a sound mind, what comes to your mind? Is it peace, clarity, intelligence, or maybe just being sane? I want to tell you today that a sound mind is not just about thinking clearly. It's about living powerfully. It's about walking into your life every single day with a mental strength that cannot be shaken by circumstances, opinions, or failure. A sound mind is not something that happens by accident. It is cultivated, protected, and exercised. And if you listen carefully, it has the power to transform your destiny. You see, many people live their entire lives on autopilot. They allow external voices, criticism, and fear to dictate their decisions. But a sound mind doesn't live for the noise of the world. It creates its own voice. It knows that clarity of thought is not just a tool, but a weapon. And the moment you understand the power of your mind, you will realize that your destiny is not a matter of chance. It is a matter of choice. I want you to imagine a life where your mind is like a calm lake, undisturbed by storms, where you can see opportunities clearly, even when chaos surrounds you. A sound mind allows you to separate truth from illusion, fact from fiction, and opportunity from distraction. It allows you to think strategically, act decisively, and remain unshaken when life tests you. And friends, let me tell you, nothing in the world can replace the power of a disciplined mind. But having a sound mind does not mean you will never face challenges. It means you will approach them with wisdom, courage, and understanding. It means you will see failure not as defeat, but as a lesson. A sound mind is not developed in comfort. It is forged in adversity. It is strengthened in moments of doubt and deepened in times of reflection. And the beautiful part is that anyone, no matter their past, can cultivate it. It is not reserved for the privileged few. It is the birthright of every human being. The reason so many people struggle is that they neglect the most important relationship in their lives, the relationship with their own mind. They feed it fear, ignorance, and negativity. They allow stress, worry, and confusion to dominate their thinking. But a sound mind is intentional. It is cultivated by the decisions you make, the knowledge you seek, and the habits you practice. It is built, not borrowed. And the sooner you take responsibility for it, the sooner your life will change. And let me give you the truth in plain words. A sound mind is freedom. It is the freedom to think independently, to act decisively, and to create the life you were designed to live. When your mind is sound, your purpose becomes clear, your actions become powerful, and your influence becomes unstoppable. It is the foundation upon which all greatness is built. Because greatness is not born, it is thought into existence, and a sound mind is the architect of that thought. So today, I challenge you to examine your mind. What are you allowing to take residence there? Fear, doubt, and negativity, or clarity, courage, and vision? Remember, your mind is like a garden. If you do not plant seeds of wisdom, focus, and self-discipline, weeds of confusion, procrastination, and worry will take over. A sound mind requires daily cultivation, intentional effort, and a commitment to excellence. It is not a one-time achievement. It is a lifetime pursuit. Friends, the world is full of distractions, chaos, and challenges, but those who master their minds will master their lives. A sound mind will protect you from deception, guide you through uncertainty, and elevate you above the ordinary. It is not something you can buy, borrow, or inherit. It is something you grow, and the power it will give you, unmatched, incomparable, unstoppable. And I promise you, the moment you begin to think soundly, you will begin to live profoundly. So I leave you with this truth: a sound mind is not luxury, it is necessity. It is the foundation of success, the engine of purpose, and the anchor in adversity. If you want to live a life of power, influence, and impact, start with your mind. Protect it, cultivate it, and harness it. Because your thoughts today will create your reality tomorrow. And when your mind is sound, nothing, not circumstance, not criticism, not chaos, can stop you from fulfilling your destiny. A sound mind is cultivated intentionally, not by accident. You see, too many people live their lives as if their thoughts are random, as if clarity and wisdom will somehow appear by chance. They wake up each day, react to whatever comes their way, and wonder why their life feels chaotic, unfulfilled, or stagnant. The truth is, your mind is not a passenger in your life. It is the captain. And the quality of your life depends entirely on the quality of your thinking. If you allow your mind to drift without direction, without discipline, you will find yourself lost, tossed by every wind of circumstance. But when you decide to cultivate your mind intentionally, everything changes. It becomes as if you have built a fortress within yourself, a place of clarity, strength, and power that no one can invade. Intentional cultivation of the mind begins with awareness. You must first recognize what thoughts you are entertaining daily. Are your thoughts empowering you, or are they holding you hostage? Do they lift you toward your potential, or do they drag you down into fear and doubt? Consider a farmer tending to his land. He does not scatter seeds haphazardly and expect a bountiful harvest. He prepares the soil, removes the weeds, plants the seeds with care, and nurtures them consistently. In the same way, your mind is a fertile field, and the seeds you plant in it, your beliefs, your habits, your attitudes, determine the harvest you will reap. Every negative thought left unchecked is like a weed that chokes the life out of potential greatness. Every empowering thought cultivated with care becomes a seed that grows into remarkable achievement. Look around you and observe those who succeed. The entrepreneur who built a business from nothing did not stumble upon success by accident. They spent hours reading, learning, thinking strategically, and visualizing their goals. They protected their minds from distractions, and they fed their thoughts with knowledge, courage, and faith in their ability to overcome obstacles. Their minds were not passive. They were intentional instruments of creation. The same principle applies to every area of life. A student who consistently studies with focus and purpose develops a mind capable of solving complex problems. An artist who practices daily intentionally cultivates a mind that can innovate and create beauty. A parent who reflects, plans, and communicates with intention shapes not only their own mind, but also the minds of those they influence. Intentional cultivation also requires discipline and consistency. It is not enough to think positively once in a while or to occasionally reflect on your dreams. Your mind must be trained like a muscle. Exercise daily with intention. If you want to think clearly, you must practice clarity. If you want to make wise decisions, you must practice discernment. If you want to remain calm under pressure, you must practice patience and emotional control. Consider the example of a musician who wishes to master their instrument. They do not play randomly, hoping to improve by luck. They practice with deliberate focus every day, correcting mistakes, learning techniques, and refining their skills. The mind, like any skill, grows stronger and sharper when it is cultivated intentionally with consistent effort. Part of cultivating a sound mind intentionally is deciding what you will not allow. Every mind is constantly under attack from distractions, negativity, and fear. News, social media gossip, and even your own doubts can weaken your thinking if left unchecked. A person with a sound mind understands the importance of guarding the mental space. They choose to focus on what empowers them, what teaches them, and what aligns with their purpose. This is why some people, despite having access to the same opportunities as others, achieve extraordinary results while others falter. It is not talent alone, it is the intentional cultivation of their mental landscape. You can also see intentional cultivation in everyday choices. When someone chooses to start their day with a routine that energizes their mind, reading, journaling, reflecting, or planning, they are planting seeds of greatness. When they choose to respond thoughtfully, instead of reacting impulsively to stress, they are exercising their mind's strength. When they surround themselves with people who challenge and inspire them, they are feeding their mind with growth rather than decay. These small, intentional decisions compound over time, and the mind that was once ordinary begins to operate at extraordinary levels. One of the most powerful aspects of cultivating a mind intentionally is its effect on resilience. Life will test you, circumstances will try to break you, but a mind that has been nurtured with purpose and discipline will not be easily shaken. It will remain clear, focused, and proactive even in chaos. Imagine a captain steering a ship through a storm. The waves are massive, the wind is relentless, and the path is uncertain. A captain who has studied navigation, anticipated dangers, and trained for such conditions will guide the ship safely. A sound mind works the same way. It equips you to navigate challenges without being overwhelmed. Ultimately, cultivating a sound mind intentionally is about taking ownership of your thoughts, your focus, and your life. It is about refusing to be a passive observer in your own story. It is about deciding that your mind will be your greatest asset, your most reliable tool, and the foundation upon which your success, happiness, and influence will be built. It is not accidental, it is deliberate. It is not inherited, it is created. It is not temporary, it is lifelong. And the moment you begin to nurture your mind intentionally, everything around you begins to shift. Because a cultivated mind does not just survive. It thrives, it creates, it leads, it inspires, and it changes the world around it. Clarity of thought allows you to see opportunities in chaos, Too often, people look at a problem and see only obstacles, challenges, or threats. When the world around them is moving fast, confusing, or even collapsing, they panic, they react emotionally, and they miss what is right in front of them. But a mind that is clear, focused, and disciplined sees differently. It sees possibilities where others see problems, solutions where others see dead ends, and opportunity where others see defeat. Consider the person navigating rush hour traffic. A distracted or overwhelmed mind sees only congestion, frustration, wasted time. But a clear mind sees alternative routes, timing adjustments, and ways to turn that same challenge into efficiency or even personal growth. Clarity of thought begins with understanding your priorities and goals. When you know exactly what you want and why you want it, the chaos of life no longer confuses you. It becomes a backdrop against which your purpose stands out. Imagine a young entrepreneur facing financial pressure, competition, and doubt from every direction. If their mind is clouded with fear, they will see only failure. But if they cultivate clarity, they will see the hidden gaps in the market, the unmet needs of customers, and the strategies that will allow them to thrive while others falter. Clarity acts like a spotlight in the darkness. It illuminates the path that is otherwise hidden by uncertainty. Daily life is filled with examples of clarity in action. The parent juggling work, household responsibilities, and family commitments may feel overwhelmed by the noise and chaos of each day. But a clear mind allows them to prioritize, plan, and execute with calm precision. They see which tasks require immediate attention, which can be delegated, and which can be postponed without consequence. What appears as chaos to an unfocused mind becomes a manageable, even navigable series of steps for a mind that has trained itself to see patterns, understand timing, and respond intelligently. Clarity of thought also allows you to separate signal from noise. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Opinions, social media, unsolicited advice, and constant demands on attention. Most people allow these distractions to dictate their emotions and decisions. A clear mind filters all of this, recognizing what is relevant to the goal and what is merely background noise. It allows you to focus on the action that matters most. Consider a student preparing for exams while balancing family expectations and part-time work. Without clarity, they are paralyzed by everything competing for attention. With clarity, they can create a study plan, focus on the most important subjects, and achieve results that once seemed impossible. Chaos is not a sign of failure. It is an opportunity for growth and insight. Every business downturn, every personal setback, and every unexpected challenge carries within it a hidden opportunity. But to see it, the mind must be calm, focused, and intentional. It is like standing on a mountaintop during a storm. Someone panicking in the wind sees only danger. Someone with a clear perspective sees the patterns of clouds, the direction of the wind, and the safest path forward. Clarity allows you to think several steps ahead, to anticipate reactions, and to position yourself for success even in the most turbulent situations. Another way clarity manifests is through emotional intelligence. When your mind is clear, you can control your emotional response to chaos. You do not react impulsively, you respond strategically. Imagine a manager dealing with a team conflict. A mind clouded with frustration and fear sees only hostility and blame. A clear mind sees the root causes of the conflict, identifies strengths and weaknesses, and finds solutions that improve relationships and productivity. The chaos does not dictate the outcome. The clarity of thought does. Clarity also fuels creativity. When the mind is foggy or distracted, innovative ideas cannot emerge. But when you cultivate mental clarity, your mind can see connections between seemingly unrelated things, create new solutions, and recognize opportunities that others cannot. A musician composing in the middle of a noisy city does not allow the chaos to block their creativity. They focus, listen to their inner voice, and produce music that resonates. A chef in a busy kitchen sees the possibilities in combining flavors in a way that turns ordinary ingredients into something extraordinary. The world is full of chaos, but clarity allows you to transform it into opportunity. Finally, clarity of thought gives you confidence. When you know your mind is focused, your decisions are deliberate, and your priorities are aligned with your purpose, you no longer hesitate. Hesitation is the enemy of opportunity. When the mind is clouded, indecision takes over, and chances slip away. But a clear mind moves decisively, seizes the moment, and turns challenges into stepping stones. Every great innovator, leader, or achiever in history has demonstrated this power, the ability to maintain clarity in the midst of chaos, to see opportunity where others saw only difficulty, and to act with unwavering focus. Adversity strengthens and deepens a sound mind. Life is not designed to be easy, and those who expect smooth roads and effortless success often find themselves unprepared when challenges arise. It is through the trials, the setbacks, the unexpected losses, and the moments of deep struggle that the mind is forged into something resilient and unshakable. Think about a blacksmith shaping a piece of iron. The hammering, the heat, and the pressure are not punishments. They are the processes that transform raw material into something strong, useful, and enduring. The same principle applies to your mind. Every difficulty, every moment that tests your patience, your courage, and your wisdom is an opportunity to strengthen your mental faculties. Consider the student who fails an important exam despite studying tirelessly. A mind that has not been challenged may succumb to discouragement and give up, seeing failure as a verdict on their worth. But a mind that understands adversity sees it differently. It sees failure as feedback, a teacher that reveals weaknesses and opportunities for growth. This student begins to analyze their approach, identify mistakes, and develop a strategy for improvement. They do not allow the disappointment to crush them. They allow it to sharpen them. Adversity, when faced with intentionality, becomes a gym for the mind, building resilience, patience, and strategic thinking. Every great leader, entrepreneur, or innovator has faced adversity, and it is this very adversity that gave depth to their minds. The business owner who loses everything in a market crash is not defeated unless they allow despair to take hold. The mind that is sound can sift through the rubble of loss and identify lessons, strategies, and opportunities that were invisible in easier times. Adversity teaches the mind to think critically under pressure, to prioritize what truly matters, and to focus on solutions rather than problems. Without it, the mind remains shallow, untested, and vulnerable to failure when real challenges arrive. Adversity also teaches emotional mastery. When life challenges us, emotions naturally rise: fear, anger, frustration, sadness. A sound mind learns to observe these emotions without being controlled by them. It recognizes that reacting impulsively often worsens the situation, while responding thoughtfully creates possibilities. Imagine a parent facing financial strain, health challenges, and family responsibilities all at once. A mind untrained in adversity may become overwhelmed, making impulsive decisions that create more problems. A sound mind, strengthened by previous struggles, calmly assesses the situation, makes rational choices, and leads the family through turbulence with courage and confidence. Adversity deepens the capacity for patience, empathy, and understanding. It teaches that strength is not the absence of difficulty, but the ability to remain steadfast and effective in its presence. Daily life is filled with examples where adversity shapes the mind. The athlete who suffers repeated injuries must retrain, refocus, and recommit to their goals. The student who faces repeated rejection from schools or programs must analyze, adapt, and persevere. The employee who is overlooked for promotion must refine their skills, demonstrate value, and find new ways to contribute. In each case, adversity is the invisible teacher, building mental endurance, sharpening problem-solving skills, and enhancing clarity of purpose. The person who has never faced obstacles may be talented, but they lack the depth, insight, and resilience that adversity cultivates. Adversity also reveals character. It strips away pretense, exposing both the strengths and weaknesses of the mind. A sound mind learns to embrace this revelation, using it as a mirror to improve itself. When faced with financial loss, relationship struggles, or professional setbacks, the mind that has been strengthened by adversity does not panic or assign blame. Instead, it looks inward and asks, what can I learn from this? How can I improve? How can I turn this challenge into a stepping stone for growth? This reflective process is what deepens the mind, creating a capacity for wisdom that cannot be achieved in comfort. Another powerful aspect of adversity is its ability to ignite creativity and innovation. When conventional paths are blocked, a sound mind is forced to explore alternatives, to think outside of limitations, and to discover solutions that would never have emerged in easier circumstances. Imagine an inventor whose resources are limited and whose experiments fail repeatedly. The adversity of scarcity and repeated failure pushes their mind to think in ways that others never attempt, and ultimately, they create breakthroughs that change industries. Adversity, when embraced, becomes a catalyst for ingenuity, resilience, and strategic thinking. Adversity also strengthens the ability to make decisions under uncertainty. Life rarely provides perfect conditions, and waiting for ideal circumstances often leads to stagnation. A mind that has been tested by hardship learns to assess risk, anticipate consequences, and act decisively even when the path is unclear. It develops confidence not because life is easy, but because it has survived and thrived through difficulty. The sound mind understands that adversity is not a roadblock. It is the very pathway to growth, depth, and lasting mental strength. Your mind is a garden. Plant wisdom, focus, and discipline. Many people go through life allowing their thoughts to grow wild, letting negativity, fear, and doubt take root while hoping for success and peace. It is as if they walk into a garden filled with weeds and expect flowers to bloom without planting, watering, or tending. The truth is, what you allow to dominate your mind will shape the reality you live in. If your mind is cluttered with worry, gossip, and indecision, your life will reflect that chaos. But if you intentionally plant seeds of wisdom, focus, and discipline, your mind becomes fertile ground for greatness, clarity, and achievement. Think about a farmer waking up before sunrise. They do not scatter seeds randomly across the field and expect a bountiful harvest. They prepare the soil, remove rocks and weeds, choose seeds carefully, and nurture them with water and sunlight. The same principle applies to your mind. Each thought you entertain, each habit you practice, and each belief you embrace is like a seed planted in your mental soil. If you nurture destructive thoughts and distractions, they grow into strong weeds that choke your potential. If you nurture empowering thoughts, discipline, and wisdom, they grow into strength, creativity, and clarity that can transform every area of your life. Consider a young professional struggling to advance in their career. They spend hours scrolling through social media, entertaining negative self-talk, and reacting to every minor frustration. Their mind becomes overgrown with weeds of doubt, distraction, and impatience. As a result, opportunities pass by unnoticed, ideas are forgotten, and confidence erodes. Now imagine that same professional choosing to plant seeds intentionally. They read books to expand knowledge, they set aside time for planning and reflection, and they practice focus in their daily work. Over time, their mind becomes a cultivated garden, yielding innovative ideas, strategic solutions, and the resilience to face challenges that once seemed insurmountable. Planting wisdom is about seeking knowledge, understanding, and insight, and allowing these seeds to take root in your decision-making process. A clear example is a student preparing for exams. Rather than memorizing randomly or relying on luck, they focus on understanding concepts, connecting ideas, and applying knowledge. They cultivate the habit of learning, asking questions, and reflecting on what works and what does not. This intentional cultivation ensures that when challenges arise, their mind is ready with the right tools to navigate them successfully. Wisdom becomes the fertile soil that allows all other qualities to flourish. Focus is another vital seed to plant. In our modern world, distraction is everywhere. Notifications, advertisements, gossip, and endless demands compete for attention. A mind without focus is like a field overrun by weeds. No matter how good the seeds, they cannot grow in chaos. When you cultivate focus intentionally, you direct your mental energy toward what truly matters. Consider an athlete training for a competition. Every distraction avoided, every deliberate practice session, every choice to concentrate on their goal strengthens their performance. Focus ensures that your thoughts and actions align with your purpose, allowing the garden of your mind to produce results that others may never see. Discipline is the third seed, and it acts as the gardener tending the mind. Without discipline, wisdom and focus cannot flourish consistently. Discipline is waking up early to work on your dreams when the world sleeps. It is resisting temptations that drain your energy or distract your attention. It is following through on commitments, even when motivation fades. Think about a writer who sets aside time every day to write despite fatigue or doubt. The discipline to write consistently transforms ideas into books, thoughts into influence, and potential into achievement. Discipline nurtures every seed you plant, ensuring that it grows strong, healthy, and productive. The weeds of your mind, negative self-talk, procrastination, envy, and fear will always try to take over if you are not intentional. You must recognize them, remove them, and replace them with seeds of wisdom, focus, and discipline. Consider a parent raising a child. The thoughts they entertain about patience, empathy, and teaching shape not only their own actions, but also the child's development. If they allow frustration and impatience to dominate, the relationship suffers. If they cultivate thoughts of understanding, strategy, and consistency, both parent and child thrive. Your mind, like a garden, affects everything around it. Intentional cultivation also means practicing daily habits that reinforce what you plant. Meditation, reflection, reading, planning, and goal setting are like watering and fertilizing the seeds in your garden. Ignoring these practices allows weeds to grow uncontested, and over time, the garden becomes unmanageable. The small, consistent choices you make each day determine whether your mind produces fruit or remains barren. The person who masters this principle becomes unstoppable because their mind produces solutions, creativity, and resilience automatically. Finally, remember that a garden does not bloom overnight. Patience is required. You must plant the seeds today, nurture them daily, and trust the process even when results are not immediately visible. A mind cultivated with wisdom, focus, and discipline becomes a sanctuary, a source of clarity, power, and influence. It is the foundation upon which success, fulfillment, and lasting impact are built. And the habits you establish now determine the harvest of your life for years to come. A sound mind separates truth from illusion and fact from fiction. In our everyday lives, we are constantly bombarded with information, opinions, and conflicting messages. Social media feeds are filled with headlines designed to provoke. Advertisements promise instant results that rarely exist, and people around us often speak from assumptions rather than reality. Without a sound mind, it is easy to get lost in this noise, believing what is convenient, entertaining, or emotionally appealing instead of what is true. The world will try to convince you that success comes from shortcuts, that happiness comes from possessions, or that your worth is defined by the approval of others. A sound mind recognizes these illusions for what they are and focuses on what is real, what is meaningful, and what will lead to growth. Consider a young professional scrolling through job opportunities online. One company promises overnight success with minimal effort. Another claims instant wealth through risky schemes, and yet another exaggerates its benefits to attract applicants. A mind that is not trained in discernment might jump at every enticing opportunity and end up frustrated or missiled. A sound mind, however, analyzes the facts, researches the background, and weighs the consequences before taking action. It does not react impulsively to appearances or emotions. It evaluates reality objectively, making decisions grounded in truth rather than illusion. Daily life is full of examples where distinguishing fact from fiction is critical. Imagine a person trying to buy a car. Advertisements boast features that sound incredible, salespeople use persuasive techniques, and online reviews are often biased. Someone without a sound mind may purchase impulsively, driven by hype rather than reality. Someone with a sound mind examines specifications, compares prices, checks reliability, and consults trusted sources. The difference between being deceived and making a wise choice is mental clarity and the ability to separate truth from illusion. This principle extends to personal relationships. People often present themselves in ways that are not entirely accurate. A friend may exaggerate kindness to gain favor, a colleague may downplay mistakes to appear competent, or a partner may hide flaws to maintain harmony. A sound mind observes carefully, looks beyond words, and assesses actions over time. It understands that reality is revealed not through promises but through consistent behavior. By discerning truth from pretense, a person avoids disappointment, builds stronger relationships, and invests energy where it truly matters. A sound mind also prevents manipulation. In today's world, individuals, organizations, and media outlets often seek to influence emotions, beliefs, and decisions. Fear-mongering, sensationalism, and exaggeration are common tools. Those without a sound mind are easily swayed, reacting emotionally rather than rationally. Those with a cultivated mind pause, reflect, and question, is this real, or is it designed to provoke a reaction? By separating truth from fiction, a sound mind preserves independence, freedom, and the ability to act wisely rather than react impulsively. Consider the student preparing for exams while navigating rumors about the difficulty or unfairness of the test. If they believe every exaggerated story, they will approach their studies with fear, anxiety, and distraction. A sound mind evaluates information, focuses on what is confirmed and relevant, and ignores the noise that serves no purpose. It acts decisively based on facts, not conjecture, turning potential stress into focused action and preparation. This discernment is what separates average results from excellence. A sound mind also cultivates integrity. It refuses to accept false narratives about oneself or others. When someone spreads gossip or misinformation, a person with mental clarity does not automatically believe it. They investigate, observe, and form opinions based on evidence. This protects them from conflict, preserves relationships, and reinforces a reputation for fairness and wisdom. In daily life, integrity and discernment build trust, while gullibility and deception erode it. Creativity and innovation are amplified in a mind that can separate truth from illusion. In business, art, or problem solving, many are distracted by myths of what is possible or by the exaggerated expectations of others. A sound mind identifies the constraints that are real, the opportunities that are genuine, and the resources that can be leveraged. Consider an entrepreneur trying to launch a product. By focusing on facts, market research, customer needs, financial realities, they avoid costly mistakes based on hype or assumption. By understanding reality, they create solutions that are not only imaginative but also achievable. Ultimately, a sound mind is a shield and a compass. It protects from deception, directs decisions, and ensures that energy is invested in what is authentic and valuable. It teaches patience to verify, courage to question, and wisdom to choose carefully. Those who cultivate this skill in everyday life navigate challenges, opportunities, and relationships with clarity and confidence. Always grounded in reality rather than illusion, it is the foundation of success, influence, and freedom. A sound mind is the starting point for every achievement you will ever experience. Without mental clarity, focus, and intentional thought, success remains a fleeting dream, influence remains superficial, and freedom remains an illusion. Consider a young professional entering the workforce with ambition, but without a plan. They may have talent, skills, and potential, yet without a sound mind guiding their choices, they drift from task to task, react to every situation emotionally, and allow external circumstances to dictate their life. In contrast, a mind that is trained, disciplined, and cultivated becomes the blueprint for success, creating strategies, identifying opportunities, and converting challenges into stepping stones. Success does not arrive by chance. It is built on deliberate thought, consistent action, and the ability to see beyond immediate circumstances. A sound mind enables this because it is capable of analyzing situations, anticipating obstacles, and planning effectively. Take the example of an entrepreneur starting a business. Without a sound mind, every market fluctuation, every negative review, and every failed attempt can feel like a catastrophe, leading to hasty decisions or giving up entirely. With a sound mind, the same entrepreneur assesses risks, learns from failures, adapts strategies, and remains resilient in pursuit of long-term goals. Success becomes less about luck and more about intentional mental discipline that shapes reality. Influence is another product of a sound mind. When your thoughts are clear, your decisions are consistent, and your actions are deliberate, people naturally trust and follow you. Influence is not built by popularity or superficial charm. It is built on credibility, vision, and the ability to think independently. A leader in a community, for instance, who reacts emotionally or inconsistently loses trust, while a leader with a sound mind listens, evaluates, and responds with wisdom. Influence comes from the confidence that others sense in your decisions, the clarity in your communication, and the integrity of your judgment. The ability to guide, inspire, and impact others always stems from mental clarity first. Freedom, the third pillar, is often misunderstood. Many equate freedom with financial wealth or the absence of restrictions. True freedom, however, begins in the mind. If your mind is enslaved by fear, doubt, procrastination, or the opinions of others, no amount of external freedom will satisfy you. Consider someone managing overwhelming debt, personal conflict, or job dissatisfaction. They may appear free externally, yet internally they are trapped by confusion, worry, and indecision. A sound mind liberates you from these chains by giving clarity, confidence, and the ability to make choices aligned with purpose. It transforms obstacles into opportunities and limitations into avenues for creativity and growth. Every decision you make, every opportunity you pursue, and every relationship you nurture is influenced by the state of your mind. A person with a sound mind does not allow fear of failure, past mistakes, or criticism to dictate choices. They evaluate situations objectively, consider the consequences of action and inaction, and make decisions that align with long-term vision rather than short-term emotions. Consider a student choosing a career path. Without a sound mind, they may follow peers' trends or parental pressure. With a cultivated mind, they assess their skills, passions, and the realities of the industry to make a choice that positions them for enduring success, influence, and autonomy. Daily life offers countless examples of how a sound mind creates these foundations. A parent managing multiple responsibilities relies on mental clarity to prioritize, plan, and execute tasks effectively. Without a clear mind, stress, forgetfulness, and miscommunication dominate, but with mental discipline, they can balance work, family, and personal growth while inspiring and guiding those around them. A professional navigating office politics or high-pressure projects relies on a sound mind to remain composed, strategize effectively, and assert influence without compromising integrity. Even simple choices like financial planning, time management, or health decisions are impacted profoundly by the quality of mental thought and focus. It is also important to note that a sound mind multiplies opportunities. While others wait passively for success, influence, or freedom to arrive, a cultivated mind sees possibilities that others overlook. It anticipates changes in the market, recognizes gaps in skills or knowledge, and positions itself to act decisively. A mind trained to think clearly and strategically sees solutions where others see obstacles, allowing the individual to build wealth, create impact, and exercise autonomy in ways that feel almost effortless to those who do not cultivate the same mental discipline. The foundation of success, influence, and freedom is not built overnight. It requires consistent reflection, learning, and intentional thought. Habits of self-discipline, clarity, focus, and critical thinking must be practiced daily. Just as a builder lays bricks carefully to construct a solid structure, the sound mind lays the mental framework upon which every achievement is built. It transforms potential into performance, ideas into results, and dreams into tangible outcomes. The mind that is disciplined, focused, and intentional creates a life defined not by circumstances, but by deliberate design. Daily practice and reflection are essential to maintain mental strength. Too many people assume that talent, intelligence, or even natural ability alone are enough to navigate life successfully. They believe that just showing up is sufficient, that some invisible force will guide them to clarity, resilience, and wisdom. The truth is that the mind, like any muscle or skill, requires consistent exercise and deliberate attention. Without daily practice, it grows weak, distracted, and vulnerable. Without reflection, it loses perspective, becomes reactive instead of proactive, and allows small mistakes to compound into larger failures. The person who ignores mental discipline is like a runner who expects to run a marathon without ever training. Eventually, the body and mind give way, no matter how strong the desire or potential might be. Practice is the heartbeat of mental strength. It is not limited to intellectual activity. It involves exercising patience, decision-making, focus, and emotional control. Consider a student preparing for a demanding exam. Reading textbooks once may provide temporary knowledge, but daily practice through problem solving, reviewing notes, and testing understanding transforms information into mastery. The repeated effort trains the mind to think critically, anticipate challenges, and respond accurately under pressure. Similarly, a professional developing leadership skills must practice active listening, empathy, and strategic thinking daily, even in small interactions. Each conscious effort strengthens the mental faculties, gradually creating a mind that remains composed, sharp, and insightful regardless of external pressures. Reflection complements practice. Without taking time to pause and evaluate experiences, lessons are often overlooked and progress stalls. Reflection is like looking into a mirror for the mind, analyzing not only what was done, but how it was done and why. Imagine a parent handling a conflict between children. Immediate reactions may resolve the moment, but reflection allows them to assess their approach, identify patterns, and adjust strategies to foster long-term understanding and harmony. Reflection transforms ordinary experiences into wisdom, helping the mind grow more resilient and capable of navigating future challenges with clarity and calm. Daily practice and reflection also help to control emotions. Life will inevitably bring stress, disappointment, and conflict. A mind that has been exercised daily in focused decision-making and problem-solving is less likely to react impulsively to these situations. It evaluates the emotional response, understands its root cause, and chooses a deliberate course of action. Consider a manager facing a sudden crisis at work. Without a practiced mind, panic and frustration may take over, causing hasty decisions and regret. With daily mental practice and reflective habits, they pause, assess the facts, and respond strategically, turning a potential disaster into an opportunity for growth and leadership. Even seemingly small daily habits contribute to mental strength. Journaling thoughts each morning, meditating to center attention, reviewing goals, or simply reflecting on successes and mistakes at the end of the day are practices that cultivate awareness, focus, and emotional balance. Imagine an artist practicing their craft daily. Over time, each stroke, each experiment, and each reflection on their work develops mastery, not just in skill, but in creative thinking and problem solving. The same applies to the mind. It grows sharper, more resilient, and more capable with consistent exercise and evaluation. Observation of daily life reveals that those who neglect practice and reflection often fall prey to distraction, impulsivity, and regret. A professional may repeatedly make poor decisions simply because they do not pause to assess the consequences of their actions. A student may struggle repeatedly with the same mistakes because they never reflect on study methods or areas of weakness. A parent may repeat cycles of conflict because they fail to reflect on their approach. In contrast, individuals who commit to daily mental practice and reflection gradually develop clarity, self-control, and foresight that allows them to navigate complex challenges with ease and confidence. Practice also strengthens adaptability. Life rarely unfolds according to plan, and unforeseen challenges test the limits of the mind. Someone who practices thinking critically, evaluating situations, and responding with strategy daily is far more capable of adapting when circumstances change. Consider a business owner navigating shifting markets. A mind that is trained through daily problem solving and reflection quickly identifies new opportunities, anticipates risks, and adapts strategies to maintain growth. Mental strength is not static. It is built and maintained through consistent, deliberate effort. Reflection nurtures perspective. It helps distinguish what is important from what is trivial, what is controllable from what is not, and what aligns with long-term purpose from what satisfies short-term impulses. Consider an athlete reviewing a recent competition. Reflecting on mistakes, strengths, and areas for improvement allows them to refine strategy, enhance performance, and build confidence for the next challenge. The combination of daily practice and reflective evaluation creates a mind that is disciplined, insightful, resilient, and capable of turning obstacles into opportunities and experiences into wisdom. Daily practice and reflection are not luxuries or optional habits. They are the very foundation of mental strength, resilience, and effectiveness in every area of life. They transform potential into action, reaction into strategy, chaos into clarity, and ordinary effort into extraordinary results. A mind that is exercised consistently and reviewed intentionally becomes a fortress of focus, wisdom, and emotional stability, capable of navigating the most complex challenges with precision and confidence, creating a life defined by intentionality and mastery rather than chance or circumstance. As we come to the close of this journey into understanding the power of a sound mind, I want you to pause and reflect on what has been shared today. Your mind is the most powerful tool you will ever possess. It is the architect of your destiny, the engine of your dreams, and the lens through which you experience the world. A sound mind does not just think, it creates. It does not just react, it directs. It does not just dream, it executes. The quality of your thoughts, the discipline with which you cultivate them, and the clarity with which you pursue them will determine the heights you will reach and the impact you will leave behind. The truth is that your mind is either working for you or against you, and the choice is entirely yours. Every moment you invest in strengthening it, sharpening it, and focusing it brings you closer to the life you were designed to live. Remember, success is not a matter of chance. It is a matter of choice. And the most critical choice you will ever make is how you manage your mind. What you feed it, how you train it, and the habits you cultivate will shape every aspect of your life. Think about it. The person who wakes up with clarity, focus, and determination will see opportunities where others see obstacles, solutions where others see problems, and growth where others see setbacks. A sound mind sees beyond circumstance. It transforms challenges into lessons, failures into stepping stones, and limitations into launching pads for greatness. It is the difference between ordinary living and extraordinary achievement. I want you to imagine for a moment the life you truly desire, the goals you have longed to achieve, the relationships you have hoped to nurture, the impact you wish to leave on the world. Now realize that all of this begins and ends with the mind. A mind that is disciplined, focused, and resilient will navigate the complexities of life with confidence and precision. A mind that is cluttered, distracted, and untrained will drift aimlessly, allowing fear, doubt, and circumstance to dictate your path. The difference is stark and the choice is yours. As Myles Munroe often said, purpose is not discovered by accident, it is fulfilled through clarity of mind and intentional action. When your mind is sound, your purpose becomes unmistakable, and the steps to fulfill it become inevitable. Think of the great innovators, leaders, and visionaries throughout history. What separated them from the rest was not always talent, resources, or luck. It was the mastery of their minds. They saw opportunities when the world saw problems. They acted decisively when others hesitated. They persevered when others gave up. A sound mind allowed them to rise above fear, to focus amidst distraction, and to execute their vision with unwavering commitment. You have that same capacity within you. You are not limited by circumstances, by past failures, or by the opinions of others. The only limits are those you accept in your mind. Free yourself from them, cultivate your thoughts intentionally, and watch how your life transforms. Daily practice, reflection, and intentional thinking are not optional, they are essential. A mind that is not exercised becomes weak, reactive, and easily manipulated. A mind that is trained becomes strong, strategic, and unstoppable. Consider the athletes, entrepreneurs, and leaders who rise each day with purpose. They understand that every small habit, every deliberate thought, and every reflective moment compounds into extraordinary mental strength. The same principle applies to you. The consistency of your effort, the intentionality of your thinking, and the clarity of your vision are what will create the life you dream of. As Napoleon Hill said, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Your thoughts are the seeds, your discipline and focus are the water and sunlight, and the harvest of your life depends on the care you give them every day. Never underestimate the power of perspective. Life will challenge you, test you, and sometimes push you to the edge of your patience. A sound mind does not deny these challenges, it embraces them. It understands that adversity is not punishment but preparation. It knows that failure is not defeat but feedback. It recognizes that the storms of life are the winds that will sharpen your vision, fortify your resolve, and expand your capacity for greatness. Your mind is a fortress, and every obstacle you face is an opportunity to strengthen its walls, to deepen its foundation, and to increase the reach of its influence. Remember also that your thoughts influence not only your life, but the lives of those around you. The clarity, focus, and soundness of your mind have the power to inspire, guide, and elevate others. The way you think, the way you react, and the way you choose to pursue your purpose sends ripples through your family, your community, and your world. The stronger your mind, the greater your impact. The more disciplined and intentional your thoughts, the more you become a beacon of possibility, courage, and wisdom. Your mind is a gift, a responsibility, and a legacy, and how you choose to cultivate it will determine the mark you leave on history. So I challenge you today to take ownership of your mind. Decide that you will no longer allow distraction, negativity, or indecision to dictate your life. Commit to daily practice, reflection, and deliberate thought. Plant seeds of wisdom, focus, and discipline. Nurture them relentlessly, see clearly, act decisively, and embrace challenges as opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more capable. As Les Brown said, you must be willing to do the things today that others won't do, to have the life tomorrow that others can only dream of. Your mind is the vehicle through which that journey begins, and the road to excellence is paved with clarity, courage, and intentional thinking. Let this truth sink deeply into your soul. A sound mind is not just a tool, it is your superpower. It is the source of success, influence, and freedom. It is the foundation of your purpose, the compass of your decisions, and the engine of your dreams. Nothing can substitute for it, nothing can replace it, and nothing can surpass it. The life you desire, the impact you dream of, and the fulfillment you seek are all waiting on the other side of mental mastery. Cultivate it, protect it, and harness it relentlessly. Believe in its power, act with intention, and let your mind become the greatest force for transformation that you have ever known. Every day, every thought, every choice is a step toward a life defined not by limitation, but by extraordinary possibility.